Hey everybody, it is Libby again with Fearlessness. So what is fearlessness? It is that underlying grit that empowers us to forge ahead. Even when hope seems distant, it's the courage to walk through those fires of hell, knowing that we're not going to just come out better on the other side, but we're going to come out stronger on the other side. Stay tuned and learn how to get fearlessness. I'm your host, Libby DeLucien, and we have a very special guest. I say that on every podcast, but you are very special. We have a very special guest. Mike, why don't you introduce yourself?
So now we've gotten through the special parts. I'm Mike Callahan. Cut my teeth back in the green industry. Started out literally pushing a push mower around in high school. So my parents taught a great work ethic, and they said, hey, if you want a car, that's great. You need to go out and pay for the car, get the car insurance. So unknowingly started my entrepreneur journey, literally knocking doors around the neighborhood. Ended up taking that quote unquote business through 5 years of college. Ran a few crews while we were in college, and then made that fateful decision, Libby, as we all do. Do we go the corporate route, or do we go the entrepreneur route? And as you may guess, we took the entrepreneurial route. And through that process, really looking at all the business owners I really admired locally, there was one common denominator. They seemed to be the center of the chaos. So as I embarked to my full-time entrepreneur journey, I said, well, if I needed a successful business like all these other guys and girls I'm watching, I better have everything in this business run through me. So long story short, that business ended up causing a divorce to the girl I was dating through high school and college. She literally came home on Valentine's Day and said, Mike, I'm out of here. This business runs your life. So after hitting rock bottom, we found automations and automated that business and went from 80 to 100 hours a week to 3 to 5 to an absentee owner. And now that has been my personal mission, as well as the business of Simple Growth, now to help business owners take their life back from their business. So there you have it, Libby. That's kind of how we got into business and where we're evolving now to help other business owners.
I love your story. It's very similar to a lot of people's story. I think actually Dan Martell has a really similar story. It actually happened on Valentine's Day, I think he says, and I'll have to recall, but of him, his
right.
fiance leaving him on Valentine's Day because the business was running him, which is interesting to hear. And, Mike does a lot of stuff. I was in his mastermind group for a little bit. Great mastermind group, by the way. And so, he, going from that field service owner to, more that corporate route now, would you consider Simple Growth software, service, software enabled?
Consider a little bit of everything. So
explain what Simple Growth is.
Yeah, I was going to say, before we got into it, we literally just took the same exact things we had in my lawn care company for the marketing and sales automations and brought that to the lawn care and home cleaning industry. And what we found is ethically, some of these business owners that came to us, like, we're ready to automate, but they had the rest of the business was just a mess. So foundationally, if we had automated this, we would have 10x'd a bad business system. So we went from the marketing automations to our second area where we did job costing financials, how to actually set up a process to estimate job cost. And then finally, the third prong of Simple Growth was our masterminds and coaching division, because some folks literally wanted accountability. They wanted a proven roadmap. And not that we even teach all this ourselves necessarily, myself at least. I've never been to, 8 figures. We went out and brought the people that I use to actually teach us how to scale, multi-7 figures into the masterminds group. But really, it's the marketing automations, it's the estimating, the job costing, the business systems, and then it's that coaching division to help people along that way to break 7 figures. And then eventually with the 8-figure business coaches we bring in, like Miranda and Brett.
Yeah. So you said something that resonated with me. It was like, if you automate it, you're going to automate their crap and just amplify it. So in WootRecruit, I'm currently doing the demos because I let go of the salesperson. And I've been doing the demos, and this is totally off topic, but as I was like laying out questions, and I'm like, you know what? Like, if they have a crappy business, which is okay, because we've all had crappy businesses and they come in and out, like it's broken sometimes it's beautiful. And a growing business is always somewhat messy. But if it's overly messy, that my husband said, it's like audio. When you bring an audio engineer, all that they're going to do is amplify the shit. So if it sounds horrible and you bring in an audio crew, you're just going to amplify it. And so the other day I was thinking to myself, it's exactly what you said. You're just automating the crappy parts of the business. With the recruiting, when WootRecruit comes in, if it's a broken business, we're just amplifying that to the candidate. And then, we really kind of drilled down on that. I just thought it was interesting. It's the same thing that we found with us, is this, we're just amplifying the broken parts versus trying to help them fix those broken parts.
Yeah, it was funny. We just did a Facebook Live earlier today with Chad Curry of CLC Landscaping out of Texas.
Oh, I love Chad Curry. Hey, Chad.
Chad and I were talking about something very, very similar, but it's, when you get really clear on that culture, your hire, training, and firing, or coaching up or coaching out to those core values, you got really clear. And maybe your ads are talking about this amazing business and how great it is and all these things you're doing, but you go in their onboarding process, so the first 7 days of the
even
business,
the interview process
are disastrous,
I learned,
right?
That it's even the interview process was broken for us when we first started. We thought we were better than what we sounded like on paper. So
yeah, it makes complete sense. And that's part of the issue that we see. So no matter the process or system, if you're not going to go in and at least blueprint it and make it actually work before you automate it, or bring in WootRecruit and actually, okay, we can get all these A candidates through the door, but if you're not answering the right questions or actually doing the way you should, or maybe you've nailed that piece, but your onboarding the first 30, 60, 90 days is not in place, it kind of falls apart. So it's the whole picture. You got to be able to walk, crawl before you walk, and you got to get these, at least the foundational pieces. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you've got to have the foundational pieces there blueprinted before you actually implement and automate it. Is where we've seen a lot of the issues with folks.
Yeah, I love that. So I want to go back to more fearlessness topics, and we'll talk about recruiting over on the WootRecruit YouTube channel. So you guys, for our listeners, can hop over there and listen to us talk more recruiting over there. But fearlessness, I want to know and ask you that journey going from field service, cutting lawns, to going more corporate, more service based, like software. What do you think the biggest lesson was for you in that?
So it's interesting. I think that
you're going from B2C to B2B sales.
The crazy
too.
thing, Libby, is it's not that different. And my dad gave me the best example. He was running multi-billion-dollar government contracts right before he retired, and he still is kind of my sounding block when it hits the proverbial fan. But it's like, hey, Dad, it's going to be so much better when I got this software SaaS business now. And he's like, Mike, people are people. Those problems never change. So I could be selling men's suits at this point, Libby. It doesn't matter. It's not that different. Now, are the elements of having a different type of service in people's homes or outside in the landscape, that individual we may be hiring is a little bit different potentially, but people are people. So the same problems are there. So I think once we figured out how to get really clear with those folks, it wasn't that different.
Hey, this is William Tinka. Listen, we did a series for iSolved called Heroes of HR, where we talk to HR practitioners. And these are just your run-of-the-mill, everyday, slogging it out, 300 employees in Cedar Rapids, HR pros. Mostly it's centered around iSolved and what they do with iSolved, but also they talk a lot about kind of the day-to-day rigor of HR. If you're curious about that, search for Heroes of HR wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you.
Still shocks me today. And on Tuesdays when we're recording this, half of my day is literally built on one-on-ones with the leadership team. Those are the conversations that are almost identical. And probably in the early days, I should have been having these types of conversations way earlier in the trajectory of the company too.
I love that. Your dad is a smart guy, because people are people. Going from my house cleaning business to software, same problems, just at different times, depending on the business and the size and the number of employees.
And there may be different levels or types of conversations where my dad was working with PhDs, but some of the issues he was having is the guys and girls weren't showing up on time, or they didn't have time management skills, versus our guys and girls in the lawn care, the home cleaning industry. But at the end of the day, when you get down to people, they just may be honestly, I had to say politically correct. There may be different levels of conversation based on their job and what they're doing. But when it gets down to the core of it, I think that as long as you can have those people skills and you can have the management skills, that's a differentiator. And it's not just us, but it's as we evolve, our leadership team needs to evolve with the business. And I think that's the other area where it's been different, because if we're growing really quickly, that team needs to evolve quicker.
Yeah. And there's something that you said earlier just about your Tuesdays, which I took from you because today's not Monday, it's Tuesday. I usually record these on Monday, but Monday was a holiday. That you spend today doing one-to-ones, and it's something that you should have done sooner. Tell me more about, like, what did you learn from doing these one-to-ones? What changed, either for, maybe it was just even for you or your insight versus what changed for the people you were doing one-to-ones with?
Yeah, so a lot of times it was mishap. Like we'd run in the office, like, hey, do you need anything? Like Tammy, Christine, Paul, whoever it was in the lawn care office in the early days, it wasn't structured. So now we have a set time that's preserved for them. We have some basic questions that we walk through. It's in a Google Doc or Google Sheet, but the high level of it is like literally, what were you working on last week? What are you working on this week? What are the roadblocks or things that you need help with? Is there things you need support from myself or somebody else on the team? And just literally some kudos, like who on the team is doing a great job if you want to give them a shout out. There's one or two other nuances, but on like a 40,000 square foot view, it just sets a conversation. The second level of that is when I first implemented this stuff, I would be going through and sharing the screen and walking through and typing it out. Now the team member literally shows up to the call with it filled out, very similar to our big three methodology or the evergreen metrics we're looking at in the business, but it's almost like a stoplight, Libby. So it's red, yellow, and green. If it's yellow, the team now is actually coming in with plans or solutions how to fix the issue, because nobody likes to show up when they're in the yellow or green or the yellow or red area. But now, since we've kind of evolved this over the last 12 to 18 months, the leadership team's coming up with solutions and plans to fix it. So it's not laying on me as the business owner. They're saying, Mike, this is the things we suggest we should do. Dan Martell, you mentioned before. I think he calls it the 131.
131.
Yeah.
We use 131. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, they're coming in with 3 solutions potentially, and then they're picking the one. But now when they come in with that methodology, now I'm just there to give them the resources, the support they need. So if you haven't read Dan Martell's book on time management, absolute just gem. But some of the stuff we cherry picked from that book as well has been incorporated in those one-on-ones.
Oh, it's one of my favorite books. I have a little secret. I'm writing a book right now, and the writer of that book, the ghostwriter, is writing my book.
Awesome.
The writer of Buy Back Your Time, because Dan didn't actually write it. It was through a series of interviews. And so I'm doing the same thing because I'm in Dan's mastermind group. So he gave me the name of the writer, and the writer, like, he was like, Libby, how somebody goes like, how does how do you say his last name? Quentin Tarantino? Yeah. Make such great movies. And he's like, because he goes out and he only works with the best actors out there. He goes, that's how I write great books. He said, it's because I interview my prospects, the candidates, and I only select the people that have great stories that I want to write about. And I was kind of like, wow, maybe this book will be good. He makes me sound super smart. That's all I know. When I get the blueprint back, I show it to my husband. I'm like, oh my gosh, like he made me sound amazing. So I'm excited for that. We're only not even halfway through yet. So it's still a little while to come out. But, for us, one of the greatest things I did for leadership is we do weekly L10s as a group. And then we have like the ops team does it. The marketing team does it. And one of the companies I have is big enough that they actually now have individual department L10s and then the leadership L10. And one of the greatest things I've done is we take turns running the meeting. Everybody. I got a doc of like how to run an L10. And I said, okay.
I want to take a break real quick just to let you know about a new show we've just added to the network. Up Next at Work, hosted by Gene and Kata Keel of the Devon Group. Fantastic show. If you're looking for something that pushes the norm, pushes the boundaries, has some really spirited conversations, Google Up Next at Work, Gene and Kata Keel from the Devon Group.
Okay, everyone's going to take turns. Everybody has loved it. It showed like leadership. It showed who's come prepared. Can they lead something? And then for that department leader or me, when I'm sitting in the leadership L10, it gives me a moment to breathe so I don't have to run it. Like it's not dependent on me. I can pay attention. And that's true for that department leader as well. Like the ops manager, they don't have to focus on that meeting, on running it. They can focus on what's being said and kind of absorb it. So we really did that. I love it. And it is, and so the team as well, all of our account managers have said, oh my gosh, that was fun. I like doing it. I want to do it again. And it was just insightful to see who wanted to run a meeting, who would follow the instructions, and takes the pressure off the same person all the time.
Pretty interesting when the team steps up and does that. And yeah, for sure. Like as we do basically our version of L10 every Monday, when we go around the horn and like everybody just takes command of that, and we do shift some of who's running the meeting as well, especially if I'm not in town. It's really interesting to see the team members evolve, and you can really see who wants to take it to that next level. So I can't agree with you more. It's really, really exciting to see that leadership team kind of up level itself.
So let's talk about next level stuff. And I'm going to talk about so many of our listeners are like, how do you juggle all of this time consuming stuff and your family? Like you have an amazing little tiny daughter. Oh my gosh, her name is, it's on the tip of my tongue, but all I know is she's like the best skier I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, there's actually two of them. So Stella and Rory. Stella's the older one. Yep. And
is she the older or the younger one?
She's the older one. So she's 9, and the younger one, Rory, is 7. So little known fact, we don't tell the oldest sister, but the younger one's stats and rankings based on the age, if you look back, are almost identical. So we've got 2 little rock stars there for sure.
So up level. So how do you went from service company to more corporate company, software, and then balancing your family. You are always there for your kids as much as you can be. That's what I see. And, what are some of the things you do to kind of help make sure that you're present in your business and you're present in your life? Because I don't really believe in time, like work-life balance. I think it's more of like an integration, or how do you manage that energy?
Yes, I mean, if I pull up my personal calendar, you would be shocked. But everything it's time coded and blacked out. It's a Google Calendar, so we've got literally right down from one-on-one to leadership teams to live events. But everything in yellow is family, so it's all integrated on one calendar. It's time blocked, so very similar to Dan Martell's book. I think I probably stole a couple things the way he breaks that out that we've recently implemented. But I made pretty much a declaration that with the kids skiing, for sure, that I would never miss a skiing event. So I had an opportunity 2 years ago to do a keynote at Mike Andy's Landscape Summit out in Seattle. The dates didn't conflict, and Mike had to change something schedule wise, where I literally said, I mean, I even looked at a private flight to see if I can make it and out. Like, Mike can't make it, I'm going to send you a replacement for myself, which he was, obviously happy about. But that's one of the things that I also kind of picked up from John Patoshnik of the Lawn Care Millionaire, co-founder of Service Autopilot, with his kids. There was certain things on the weekends that they were not negotiable. They were, he would not miss them. So that's kind of the setup that I did. Now there may be an occasional baseball game or, dance practice I might miss, but yeah, the idea is I really am trying to block that out, and I'm really trying to stick to that. The lessons learned through that first relationship were really, really hard. So obviously you don't want to make that same mistake twice. So that's been the process. My wife's obviously very flexible. We have open communication about some of the traveling. I don't know how you do it with yourself. I respect that you do it. I just personally cannot travel any more than I personally am, more than like once or twice a quarter. But yeah, that's the idea is, family's got to come first. And I think that's some of the thing too, that resonates at least through Simple Growth's team. Virginia, Kiana, a couple of the other folks on the team. Josh just had a child in the last 12 months. But we build the flexibility in our team as well. That's kind of, it's not necessarily a core value, but it's kind of how we live and breathe. So everybody has that flexibility when they need it. So I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah, I mean, it's top of frame of mind, everything I do. And my assistant Andrea now, and my assistant Andrea now has a direct line with my wife, which I don't know in retrospect if that was a great move, because I think they talk more than I do with my assistant. But their communication, like, hey, do the kids have any baseball games this week, or do we have ski practice, or what's going on? So she's constantly communicating with my wife as well, because that's one of, as I get going, like, I'm not thinking about this stuff. So I'm like, hey, Andrea, talk to Sarah, which is my wife, and flush this out, make sure it's good. And if the three of us got to get on a quick call, we'll do it. But I put that safeguard in to help respect my time as well. Now she's my advocate to make sure I'm following through on my responsibilities.
And I love that. Marilyn, my assistant, she has a direct line with Chris as well to just confirm or ask certain things if she can't find something. But I think that the fact that you have people helping you protect your time and really being intentional is something that probably when we're smaller or we just haven't gotten there yet, we don't really see the value in that. If for our listeners, and that's the one thing like Dan Martell will push you on, is if you don't have an assistant and you're a business owner, you need to get one. And now with like outsourcing or even VAs, you could afford one to really help you get back some of that time and be intentional.
So Lori,
we all don't think we needed one. So I'm in this group, right? It's the software group, and they put us in cohorts. And it was Paul Fasthauer, my ex-partner of WootRecruit, was in the group with me, and so was Chris, who was my husband, but also our CTO. And there was like 4 other people in this cohort, and it's a SaaS cohort. And I said something, and we meet every other week. And I said something about an assistant, and they said, "Oh my God, for the love of God, will you just go get an assistant? You've been complaining about this for 3 months and you've done nothing about it." And I just kind of said to myself, I was like, oh crap. Like, because I didn't think I needed one. I didn't think I deserved one, right? There's that, like, I don't need an assistant. Who am I? Like, you don't need one. You don't deserve one. You can't afford one. Like, I don't have enough stuff going on that they would have anything to do. And like, that's so far from the truth. Even if you're at like a $500,000 business, because between your life and your work, there's so much that can be helped and scheduled so that you can have some time back. Like, I don't know if you struggle with that. You don't think you need
game
one
changer.
Or kind of
Yeah, so Lori on our team, who's been around since day one of Simple Growth pretty much within the first year. Crazy story for another podcast. But yeah, like Lori was like, before she retired, was like, Mike, you need assistance. I'm like, God, like, I can handle it. I don't need it. There's not enough, like everything you just said. And lo and behold, like, Andrea is busy. Like, she is definitely busy. But it's been a game changer, because like, if I'm driving down the road and I think of something within working hours, and obviously I think that's the biggest thing. If you're getting a personal assistant, Andrea, I'm sorry if you're watching, but I do try to respect her personal time as much as possible. It might be 5:05 or 5:15 sometimes, but obviously you got it within their to be respectful of their time. But yeah, I mean, if I'm driving down the road, picking the kids up, there's certain things that are running through my head, and I could just call and kind of mind dump on her, and the next day it's sitting there, or she's just already executed on it. And it's a game changer.
Absolutely. Same thing with Marilyn. I'll message her in Slack or voice message her, because I'm not a typer. And I'll just say, like, this is for Monday. I know it's Sunday right now. Don't listen to this. Like, listen to it on Monday. Because we train everyone to like snooze Slack during non-business hours. But I think that, for me, someone had asked me this question, like, what were the pivotal moments that your businesses went through? And it's so funny, because I know exactly what they are, the 3 of them, and they have nothing to do with the business. It was for Organize It, when I allowed, actually it helped WootRecruit too, but when I allowed the cleaners to clean my own house and I stopped cleaning, was one. I got that time back. I didn't have to worry about it. And I'm such an addict now that I have my house cleaned twice a week. I know. I'm like, what is this huge line item for discounts? They're like, that's your house. I was like, oh, never mind.
Angelica's coming to clean my place tomorrow. I don't know about twice a week though.
The second one was when I got an assistant. It changed everything, because I was so focused on, okay, I'm getting this time back. What am I going to do with myself to like up level? I can't just go sit on the couch and eat potato chips. And then the third one was when I got a house. Well, Dan calls them a house manager. I just called mine a house helper. Which helped me around the house, cooked. Oh my God, it was amazing. Cooked. They don't have to clean because the cleaner cleans, but it's all the things in between, taking kids, driving them. It was all the things for me as a mom that stressed me out and that I had to take care of, that took my attention or bandwidth away from the company.
Yeah, love it. That third one I'm working on. We're almost there. So that's probably the next one. But it's coming right around the corner.
Yeah. So I didn't want to go with a full blown house manager because I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, I went with just like a house helper. I got a senior in high school because they only go like half days. They wanted to learn. It didn't cost me a fortune, although I paid them well. Because house managers, obviously a pretty penny. So I started there because it's just like with hiring an assistant. You have to learn actually more than they do.
I was gonna say, you don't know what you don't know till you start finding out.
And I knew that because I went through 3 assistants. Like, Libby wanted to not hand stuff over and she wanted to micromanage everything. And so I went through 3 and they were my fault. Bad hires, wrong choices, didn't give them what they needed to be successful. And I knew that was going to be true with the house helper. So I just wanted to try temporary until I learned or documented the stuff in the house or what we needed. Because again, it went to that I don't really need any help, to oh my gosh, I have so much to do. But I love that. And then, so as far as that journey goes with you learning and growing, because you have a lot of stuff going on. You have the mastermind group, you have Simple Estimates, which is the software, and then you have Simple Growth, which is automations. What softwares do you integrate with right now?
Service Autopilot and Copilot and soon to be Jobber.
Oh, okay. Nice. You have a lot of stuff going on. What do you think? What is the thing that you're the most proud of?
Honestly, I would say in the whole perspective, looking back at the lawn care company, one of I think my Achilles heel was literally getting on the truck and trying to help the guys and girls on the crew when it hit the proverbial fan. So, I mean, as crazy as this sounds, just to put it in perspective, Libby, literally, I went into the shop one morning at the lawn care company, and out of the 10 or 12 crews or whatever it was at that point, a third of them literally had created a mutiny and tried to start their own company. And so it was at least 3 mowing crews that I can remember that literally sat idle that morning. So instead of literally going back to the office and working about this virtual bench that we talked about and we had built, and I probably could have went and rebuilt those crews, maybe not perfect, but within a day or two, right? For 2 weeks, I got on the truck and tried to mow not 1, not 2, but 3 crews worth of work. And obviously it all kind of hit ahead at Mother's Day weekend when I was like, holy crap, this is going to kill me. So I got to fix this. But I think that the most thing that I'm proud of now is that I've gotten out of that mindset, and we just get back to the basics and set the strategy and fulfill whatever that gap is. So we just replaced our marketing person, and instead of going in and being the marketing person, we're filling that gap and bringing in that person. So I guess that's it. Just not jumping in and trying to put the fire up, but actually being strategic.
Yeah, I love that topic on the mutiny part, and you had to go back into the field. What did it feel like when I've had somebody steal customers and not show up. But what did it feel like when you found out that?
Yeah, obviously felt betrayed. They found out within a week or two that I gutted them, literally. I went out and found out who they tried to take, and I took care of it. They were out of business within a week or two. After I got the handle on it. But yeah, it was I was betrayed, and it was, I took it personal. So
you probably don't want to cross me and Mike. I think we were a little crazy.
It's not a good idea. I don't get mad. I just get even.
Yeah.
So yes, I took it very personal. It was a personal attack on the family. It was a personal attack on the team. And, we ended up putting them out of business within a week or two, but it was, after I got off the truck. But yeah, it was ugly. But the worst part about it is to add insult to injury. Now we can't prove it. Well, at least one of the two we could, but not only did they basically stage a mutiny, they just did show up that Monday. but a quarter of the trucks are broken into. All the tablets are ripped off the dashboards. And then the following week, to add insult to injury, 2 or 3 of the storage garages that we're using for all the equipment they drilled their locks out, stole all the hand equipment they could pull out. So, I mean, it was like the perfect storm of all perfect storms. And here I am literally trying to get on these freaking trucks to cut these lawns, and I should like literally be taking care of all this chaos. So yeah, I mean, it was a trying month, to put it lightly.
Yeah. I posted something on Facebook the other day because because with this holiday weekend that just passed, Memorial Day just passed, and it's a busy season for even mowing and house cleaning and vacation rentals. And so many people I see disappointed in themselves because for some reason they had to go back in the field. And I posted on Facebook a picture of me because I had just had to go back in the field for the first time ever in like 2 years. I had to go to a customer's house. And, I posted that it's not shameful or a sign of failure that you have to go back and that you have to go and cover something that you have once handed off. Right. It's stages and signs of growth. And sometimes they don't work out. I had to go back in the field because I didn't have a process built for this. And one of our cleaners, actually there were 2 there. 2 of our cleaners were accused of smoking pot in the customer's house. And the customer was irate. And, I could have just told my office, you handle it. But like my office didn't know what to do. The cleaners were crying. The cleaning technicians were crying because one of them was like 7 months pregnant and she was so offended and upset. The customer was upset. And I said, I just need to go so I can figure out how to deal with this.
Yeah. And sometimes you do got to jump in the trench, and sometimes that's your opportunity as a leader to thrive. But obviously that's the exception. And trust me, we've had some deep dives where people pay $7,000 to $10,000 for these one-on-one consultings, and there may be not necessarily an issue, but like it's escalated to the point like, hey, I may jump in for an hour or 2 on this call just to make sure we get from here to here. Or as the authority figure say, hey, I've done hundreds of these already before we delegated them. This is actually the same exact process the coach is teaching you. This is what I would recommend. And then sometimes that authority or coming in can turn those calls around. But yeah, I mean, full transparency, I guess it's probably the same as jumping in on the cleaning crew. Occasionally you have to, but that's got to be the exception. Because I think when I was constantly jumping in, that's what literally pulled the business back big time.
Yeah. And you're going to jump in and you're going to have to jump in sometimes so you can learn and create processes around it.
Yep.
It's
Totally
your opportunity. And it was funny because everything worked out fine. We found out what really happened. It wasn't our cleaning technicians. It was somebody else in the house. We're not going to say who it was. Yeah, teenage kids. So it's just really interesting, but I see so many people disappointed, in themselves and beating themselves up on this topic. But I think sometimes, as long as we're not doing it every time, all the time, sometimes that's what we have to do to get through it, to get by, as long as we're creating processes around it and learning from it. As one of my friends said, it's where the gold can be found, he said. I was like, I love that statement. It's where you can find gold. Is when you get your hands dirty and you go start interacting with customers. That doesn't necessarily mean cleaning, but interacting with the customers. So love that topic. So before we wrap up, Mike, because you have so much going on, is there anything else going on? You got anything in the works? Another company, software?
No, I don't think I've got the bandwidth or the energy to launch another company. We do have another big masterminds event coming down in the end of August in Des Moines, Iowa. We're going to be going to Corey Ballard, who's one of the top industry influencers. Ballard Inc. is where they manufacture all the different accessories for the mowers, things like that in the lawn care industry. And we're also got a really great shop tour as well with Sam Rankin of Etch. So looking forward to that. And then Garrett Matthews and I have a holiday late roundtable in Shreveport, Louisiana. I think it's July 10th, 11th, and 12th, somewhere in that area. I think the 11th and 12th.
Garrett, by the way.
Yeah. So Garrett and I are going to be going. He's if we go out on the town, he's picking up the bar tab. But
oh yes,
yeah, we've got a hands-on event with Garrett and his team where he's opening up his shop, and he's even got a mock roof he's built in the back of his shop where they can actually climb on so quote unquote roof and actually learn how to put the materials on that. So
if it's a Garrett event, it's will not disappoint. It will be entertaining. Although I have to say, if he's listening, he has slowed down since his Service Autopilot Elite days.
Which is disappointing, but we did put it in the waiver that we will not pay his bail if he does get arrested at the after hours event.
I know. I'm like, man, he grew up.
Maybe he just got older. Who knows?
Who knows? So, Mike, I want to thank you for being a guest on the Fearlessness Podcast. And for our listeners, that's a wrap into the heart of fearlessness. If you want to find more episodes like this one, you can find them on thefearlessness.com or libbyd.com. Remember, every step we take is a move towards our own strength and courage. Keep walking through those fires because on the other side lies a version of yourself that's unstoppable. I'm Libby, reminding you to embrace your fearlessness. Until next time, stay brave, stay bold, and keep pushing forward.